Thanks. I'll just repeat his question. So your background is from aviation industry and you are moving towards tech. So how can you do that? And I'll just make it a bit more generic because like backgrounds can be different. These days there are people from medical, there are people from electrical engineering, and they also have similar questions. Okay. So like you all have seen generative AI coming in these days. You see AI being involved in all different disciplines of our life, may it be like any domain, medical, science, technology, art, whatever it is. So it is like obvious that we have to get involved in tech no matter what your domain is now. But the question comes, what's the best way to enter tech right now? Coming like from your background, like every domain has some form of tech involved in it anyway. Maybe medical. I have seen many people who have medical background, but then they ended up working on the different sensors of Apple Watch. Even though they had different background, but they were working on this like what is this? You detect the heartbeat through like those sensors. So they were working on that, and they are also involved in tech, but they had that medical background. Same when it comes to aviation industry, you can develop softwares that are mostly specific for different jets or like airplanes, but you still are working in software industry. And now, how to enter there? I feel like the best way to enter such things is always like at least do some research on what are the different kind of roles that people from aviation industry that they ended up choosing in tech. It's always a good idea to talk to them first, and then later on like just start with a little bit of ease that doesn't have a lot of coding involved, because then you are not very overwhelmed. So I have noticed that people who entered maybe data science, data analysis, or like a little bit of coding, but then they end up going deeper into the technical depth. That's a bit easier for them. So I would suggest maybe start a little bit of coding and like try to get some domain knowledge of your industry that you want to work in. Involve that, just build some small projects and just move through that, like starting from data analysis, data science, or maybe through that you can move towards software industry if you want. But yeah, like I think all the domains are pretty much similar. I get this question very often, like should you go for DevOps, should you go for software engineering, should you go for like AI engineers? There are so many roles these days, but I often tell them that these are pretty much like similar, not similar, but like you can move around, right? I told you like I started from my career from software engineering. In between, I was also a DevOps engineer and data engineer, and that was the one key factor that helped me pass my interviews, because these interviews they don't just check your coding skills, they check your system design skills, your like maybe networking skills or anything. So it helps if you have like diverse backgrounds rather than sticking to one role. And I don't want to say you should just follow business intelligence or like this one particular role. Start with some basics and then see like through different projects what do you like, where do you see yourself going, maybe into machine learning, then you can get into a specific specialization. I hope that answers your question.